Alright, so our poster title is, Are You Dominant?
Yes. Oh, you asked.
Oh, yeah. But are you dominant for these certain traits? For the, just to give it an overview about what we did was that we took surveys of people who had 2 offspring, and if they were dominant or recessive for the traits of if you have an attached or unattached earlobe, if you have widow's peak, or the straight hairline, or if you had hair on the back of your head or not.
Okay.
And
Let's talk about your literature review, guys. Tell me some of the research you had to do for your background.
we had to do like the most common or like the either or traits that were found like in the communities, like that were like in order to testable.
Okay. Where did you start that research? I know we did some in class. Did you guys use some of that information, or?
We just researched like common either or traits that were presented like in the general population.
And one more time, can you name the ones that you tested again? So widow's peak was one.
Widow's peak, hair on the back of head.
The mid-digit, okay, and?
No, I think it's just right here.
So this part of the hand,
Yeah,
okay.
that part. And we attached.
The attached or detached earlobes,
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
And other research that we did was how to like make a pedigree and how to represent recessive and dominant traits.
Okay.
And how to represent the offspring. So like the squares will represent males and circles represent females. Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about your hypothesis. When you guys first started, I know there's been a major evolution in your project. You started in one way and you kind of ended up testing something different. Can you talk about how you thought you were going to start and then how you kind of whittled it down?
Alright, so we were going to start like first by just surveying a lot of people about just like one person about each trait that they had, and then eventually we started narrowing it down to a family.
Why?
So that we could see like the which traits are being passed down and which traits are not being passed down.
And these, you worked with biological families, not adopted families, or
No, yeah, they had to
or
be
step families.
They had to be fully biological, related to each other.
Okay.
Or else it wouldn't work because then they wouldn't have been passed down the same traits by their parents.
Did you have a control, Jose?
No.
Would there be a control group in this experiment?
There wouldn't.
It wouldn't be,
because
right.
You can't control it.
Because it's either or.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Okay. Talk to me about, did you have any weird accuracy issues? As far as accuracy of data and observations, did you find that there were any environmental things that may have impacted your experiments? On any of the 3 traits?
We don't think so.
I think the only one, which I think it was very rare, was that if someone got like severely burned on the back.
Yeah.
But other than that, or if they're completely bald.
Yeah.
But we kind of make sure that they had some hair.
You can tell that. And the only other thing would be, I know that sometimes clothes can rub up against things.
Oh.
So like in the summertime and the wintertime, you have different hair on your arms.
And also like the age of the people.
Yeah, that's true too. So you documented ages as well in your data? Or you did?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay. So let's talk about your hypothesis was, did you have a hypothesis?
Well, I don't think so. We didn't really have a hypothesis.
So your hypothesis was that it could be passed down.
Yeah.
What you were looking at whether it was mom or dad for certain traits.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that was our hypothesis. They could be passed down. Like,
Okay,
because
so
of the laws.
that could be passed down. Good. Okay. Talk to me about your data. I'd like to see about your data pedigree charts.
All right, so we had 10 families, so we have 10 little pedigree charts, and
Are any of these your families? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is mine.
So family 1 is yours, and Erandy is your family up there.
No, because I don't have a
You don't have a
full
sibling.
brother.
You're an only child.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, so let's talk about these families.
All right, so we did different pedigrees at first. We did like male, male, female. I mean male and female, and then also female, female, because they have different offspring.
They're dependent on the family.
Yeah. So then we would put the dad in the first one and then the mom on the other one, and would tell like if they were dominant on the widow's peak. And if they're dominant on the widow's peak, that means they do have it. If they're recessive, they don't. For the attached earlobes, if they're recessive, they're attached, and if they're dominant, they're unattached.
Got it.
And for the hair on the back of the hand, if they're dominant, that means they do have it, and if they're recessive, they don't.
Yeah.
Did you find dominant traits, and did you guys take this data and then collect it, and were there traits that were more dominant or less dominant, or that surprised you? Were there any surprises in your trends?
I don't think so. I think everything, like...
Did it follow your research?
Well, the back of the hand was dominant, and then the widow's peak was also dominant for people who did, and then for the attached earlobe, it was kind of odd because it was 50-50.
Really? And what would normally be the which is dominant, attached or detached?
What?
In other, I mean, like, which is the recessive, the attached or the unattached?
I think the unattached.
The unattached, yeah, I think so. So this attached earlobe is dominant?
Yeah.
Right, but you guys...
No, wait. Dominant would be free.
Free hanging.
Yeah.
So you found, actually, that it was right at the 50-50.
Yeah, it was exactly at the 50-50.
And where did you see most of the tracking come from for these three either-or traits? From the parents? With the dad or the mom?
For the hair one, we found that usually it was
The males.
The males who had the hairs.
That
Okay.
could be because of like the testosterone.
That's exactly it. So you think that hair might be a sex-linked gene?
Yeah.
Awesome. What else? Were there any that were tracked through the mom?
I think the
The
widow's peak.
Widow's peak. So the hair. You just said that was tracked through. Oh, the hair here was tracked through the man.
Yeah.
You saw a lot more of these coming from the dad who had it, but the widow's peak may have came from the mom.
Yeah.
because
Which was the closest? Just out of curiosity, Jose. Which was the closest in data? The earlobes
closest to what?
to
Like-
each other. The 50-50 was the
Yeah.
earlobes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Were there any odd anomalies or weirdness in any of your data? Did you find any kids who? Yeah.
I was like surprised that like a lot of people do have the widow's peak, but because usually when you walk around, you usually don't see it that often.
Yeah. People
but,
cover it up or.
But we realized that in the data, it actually is. It's a dominant trait that.
Got it. Tell me about family 3, because it might just be experimental error or a typo, but
Oh,
I'm-
yeah.
okay.
That was
I was wondering how dad and mom had children that were a dad and mom. That was a little confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in the Midwest, and there are some families like that in Kentucky, but you know, I don't know anybody here in California like that. Okay.
No, I think that was just.
So if you guys were, talk to me about your conclusions, please.
Well, the conclusion was that we found that they were the Mexican. That they were like most of them were recessive for the trait
Okay.
for the widow's peak, but usually the ones that do have it would be the women.
So you actually saw with the racial structures, you
Yeah.
did some surveying when you were doing the data collection. And so tell me again with the Latino culture, what did you find?
We found that the women were the ones that had the dominant, but what made the trait recessive was that the men usually had the straight
And
hair.
that was what was being passed down, is
Yeah.
that dominant?
Yeah.
Very cool. If you guys, and I'm going to direct this one to Jose. Jose, if you had a year and you were able to do a similar topic to this, what would you do differently and how would you collect it for the future? If you got a whole year to do this experiment, what would you do?
I think what I would expand more would be the traits. We would add more traits into it to
All
make
right,
it
more either or traits?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also maybe survey a bigger, like not just like Latinos, also like Caucasian.
But actually do some race demographics with
Yeah.
it and tie it into that. Excellent.
Yeah, so we have a year, then we have a lot more to like. I mean, I think I would still keep like the same concept of having the same biological parents, of course, and at least 2 offspring, so we could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any of these families, I think I asked this when you guys were in progress, but some of these families had more than
one offspring.
2 offspring,
Yeah, more than
right?
2 offspring.
So you guys got the ones that were just easiest to access, right?
Yeah, of course.
Would you consider maybe doing age? Because do you think any of these traits change with age? Or just environmentally impacted?
Probably, I don't know, we hadn't thought about that. But coming back to the other question of conclusion, I think what we wanted to do was like do continent, like races from different continents, see which continent was dominant
that's really
for,
cool.
for trade.
It's almost a Spencer Wells thing, where you guys got to travel looking at either or traits and seeing if it has been impacted by our evolutionary path.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. Thank you, guys. Last question is experimental error. What source of experimental error do you feel like you had in here? Were there any errors or anything you could have?
The typo.
The typo. Okay, but that's not really an experimental error. Did you test anybody differently or not differently?
No, I don't
No,
think so.
I think it was just you really couldn't have an experimental.
Did you have any of your experimental testers that you couldn't tell? Like, were there any questions? Like,
Some of them, the hair, some of them was kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
And
so
some
you had
of-
to use magnifying glasses. You had to really get down and look at it.
It was pretty.
Yeah,
hard
because
to
it probably was like, well, how you said that, maybe like their clothes, like kind of.
Clothes to rub it off,
rusted
it burned off. I mean,
Or
that's
age,
yeah.
yeah.
And those are that's the one either or that concerned me when you guys started it. But I think you really pushed through. And I would also say in future, if you took this to the next level in college, you'd want pictures of each person. So instead of writing those things,
I think it was kind of hard to
Like,
access
yeah.
like the parents to like to take pictures of. It was.
Kids would have been fine, but the parents.
Yeah, it would have been.
Isn't that interesting that you would think the parents would want to see that? Excellent. Thank you. Very nice, guys. If I could see your works cited page, that's what I need to see, and any evidence of your data collection.
All right, so
The works cited.
Let's see the works cited.
oh, this is
This is your data collection.
Yeah,
I just want to see
it
the
was
data.
just
Can I see one family? And you got the dates at the top? Good, good, good. Okay, cool. That's what I need to see.
All right.
And works cited is where?
Works cited. Well,
Either one of them, I don't care.
we really couldn't get that many works cited, but the.
No, I mean, it's like because like they were the same thing because since they were like common traits,
Yeah.
they would all just represent the same thing.
Excellent. Okay, that's what I needed. That was good. That was. Thank you very much, guys. Awesome sauce. Next up is